Welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. Once again, it is the Barnes and Tony Show. Renee by the DVD player.
Yeah, dude. Put it in this. Where do you put it in, Renee?
Glee.
No, dude. Brian, 5 minutes on Glee. Real quick. Go.
I don't know. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well, dude. A little tired, late night here at the stew, dude. But what a great time playing Madden. I don't think I've ever had that much fun playing Madden in my life, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I don't play that often, so playing with you guys, it was a ton of fun.
What a great time
it
was last night. So if anybody hasn't checked that out, on our archives, the Madden 23 tournament, won't spoil any surprises.
Oh,
but I just want to get confirmation because it's tough in the moment. You don't know when people are just kind of poking fun. But when you guys kept talking about like fumbling or whatever you were talking about, was all that just nonsense?
Yeah, dude, come on.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. You never know.
Yeah. No, of course, dude. It's just friendly competition, Renee.
And I guess we'll have to wait to discuss this with Michael. But after, I guess we're gonna go PGA. I think all of them once more as Matthew and your mother chime in. Let's go. Good morning. Me and Matt were actually just texting about how excited we are for
that's nice.
The Yankee games this season.
Let's go!
In Arthur Avenue.
Oh, dude.
So we're excited about that. But with this whole league, it just wins and losses up to a certain point. I mean, how do you think it's structured? I mean, what do you think we do here?
That's a very good question. I don't know if it's wins and losses in terms of winning the night, as opposed to just games.
Okay, so we're gonna just track total winning nights.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to gauge it.
Yeah. I could see that.
Right. Well, again, we have to talk to Michael. And of course, got to put something obviously at stake, so I think it's really nice, dude. A pie, dude.
So yeah, that was just an awesome time. And we'll be back on the course next week with PGA 2K23.
Hopefully there's some nice weather next Monday.
It would be nice to actually be on the course. But there's so many different directions to go. And I know I'm throwing a curveball here at you. But let's go to the world of the National Football League.
Whoa.
6 for 101, 2 touchdowns. To Evans. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
How about that throw?
Sam Darnold blasted. Oh, my goodness. Did he take a hit? In trouble. What? Brings him down. Loft one for Odell Beckham Jr. Got it down. Touchdown.
All right, Tony. So day, I guess, 2 of the offseason continues on here, and news broke yesterday afternoon. And something we already really talked about and it was widely expected, but agreement not in place just yet. But Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen expected to be named the next head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. So the 37-year-old Steichen, obviously Eagles offensive coordinator the last 2 years, and then was part of the Chargers staff in 2020. And actually the Chargers going back to 2014 before a stint with the Browns in 2013, and the Chargers as a defensive assistant back in 2011. So if you want to talk about total years as a offensive coordinator here, we're talking about 3, talking about 37, obviously, learning under Nick Sirianni, but Nick Sirianni, is still a newer coach as it is. But of course we see the success that the Eagles had an offense this year, but I have to ask you, Tony, I mean, What do you think about this hire? I mean, like I said, know the Eagles offense had a lot of success this year, but I just don't know how much of that was Steichen's influence or how much of that was the players that are on the field. I'm questioning this hire a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, you think about a team like the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, obviously, we talked about the wide range of applicants and kind of that they were interviewing, everything like that. Obviously, you think of someone who's a part of a successful organization, you could say this year. Obviously, Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. We all know that. I mean, you have to imagine that this guy, what's his name? Steichen?
Yeah, Steichen.
Did have some hand in it. I understand maybe not capabilities of being a head coach, but he's calling the plays for the offense, correct?
No, I believe Nick Sirianni does.
So what does Steichen do?
Well,
really?
He coordinates the offense. So he comes up with the game plan, the array of plays that they're going to call, and then Sirianni actually calls them. Most of the time, unless your head coach is like a play caller, that's the offensive coordinator will call the plays as well. But it's just because of the fact that he was an offensive coordinator before. So I think with that in mind, Tony, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably better for the Colts. I don't know. Who else do they really have to look at, though?
A name that's been passed
Saturday?
over. Okay, never mind. I apologize. So he does actually call the plays. Middle of 2021 season, he switched it over. So
let's go. Successful Colts Super Bowl winners next year. Put it down now.
I don't know, but I don't know. There's nothing to be said, Tony, though, about like a coach. When you bring in a new coach to your organization. About kind of, I don't know, just really doing their due diligence and getting their experience. I just feel like sometimes we hire these guys too quickly. And a guy I would look at, and I know there's off the field stuff concerns going back like 30 years ago, nothing recently. And there's been talks of being a bad interviewer. But and actually, I have to give credit. JT the Brick made this on Brick on Mad Dog this point last night. But it's like, how do you not hire Eric Bieniemy and just say, run the Chiefs offense with our team? I don't get it. I understand you could interview bad, but he's had a bunch of interviews for head coaching positions. And, he's been there the whole way with Mahomes. I just don't understand how he wouldn't be more qualified than someone like Shane Steichen.
Money? No?
The first-time head coaches, how much money are you really making? You know what I mean? Unless you're really like a hot candidate.
Right.
But there's no prodigies in this coaching cycle, Tony.
So you think bad job overall?
I guess we'll see, but I don't know.
Hope? Any hope?
I would rather see, get Wink Martindale in there. You know what I mean? Get I don't know. I just think, like I said, the success of the Eagles has less to do with Steichen and more to do with the players on the fields.
No, I could see where you're coming from that, but he does call the plays now. He calls the plays. Come on.
So you think it's going to work out?
I do think so. Again, it's going to be tough to see because how do you gauge that? Because obviously, you look at the Colts not having the type of talent the Eagles have. So, if the Colts aren't performing, are you going to blame Steichen over here?
They need a quarterback.
Right.
And I think with the quarterback, the offense will actually be pretty good. I like Michael Pittman. Jonathan Taylor, if he's healthy, is one of the best running backs in the game. And then Alec Pierce could emerge in the second year. So it's all about getting the quarterback. There's talk about Stroud, whether it's at 4, moving up to 1. But they got to get their future quarterback this offseason. It's that simple. On the other side of the field for the Eagles, their defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, is one of 2 finalists for the Arizona Cardinals head coaching job. The other being Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Amarillo. Now, with a lot of questions on offense for the Cardinals, whether Hopkins stays, if he goes, how Murray's going to look from the ACL injury. Do you feel like it's a little odd, the Cardinals going, with a defensive-minded head coach here?
I don't know. I think maybe they're just looking for the best mix-up possible. Defensive-minded head coach or not, they had several things wrong with the team. So I think maybe they're just looking at all different aspects of kind of, what these applicants kind of bring to the table. You never really know until you really sit down with them. So I can see maybe why they're just trying to interview whoever. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I could see the Cardinals hiring the Eagles defensive coordinator here. Also, how does that exactly work now? If he's like the defense coordinator, obviously going for the head coaching job for the Cardinals.
Yep.
Does that mean like if he doesn't get it, he falls back into the defensive coordinator job, or are the Eagles moving on here?
Oh, no. He would. They would retain.
He would
him.
retain him.
Yeah, anytime. I mean, they're gladly going to retain the guy.
Okay.
But it appears he's headed that way.
So the Eagles coaching staff could look kind of different next year, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I mean, it just too. I'm just thinking with this defensive minded head coaches. I mean, do you think it really doesn't matter as long as they have a good offensive coordinator? Like we're overrating the fact that the head coach has to be an offensive minded head coach.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I think again, given the fact you use the Jets as probably one of the bigger examples. Their offensive coordinator, before kind of sucked. So I feel like you just have a good coaching staff in general with a head coach who just is has the ability to work with other people. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah,
right?
it'll be interesting to see, how these teams shape their rosters and what the path forward is.
I understand, like obviously being a head coach is cool and all, but like, why do these guys want to leave the Eagles? Is it just for the like?
Yeah,
I'm going to be a head coach.
You know what I mean? If you're really into coaching,
yeah,
your dream is to be a head coach.
But dude, like the Cardinals, the Colts.
Well, you want to go to a good organization,
right?
Historically, the Colts have been pretty good until recent. The whole Andrew Luck thing, I think, really screwed over the organization. However, I guess Jim Irsay, seems like a little bit of a wild card. So you think about that, and I think the key is, what their plan is at quarterback. I guess you're fine with it if you're walking into a situation where you get your guy, and you're going to develop him. And I think that's the Colts plan. They want to develop somebody long term. They're not going to bring in another Matt Ryan type this offseason. So
hopefully not.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Draft in April, so there'll be a lot of talk leading up to that, and I'm sure the quarterback carousel will get moving rather quickly. So just wanted to get those couple talking points in, Tony. As the curveballs continue, let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
2-2, he got him swinging. A back-to-back strikeouts for Robbie Ray. There's damage right there. Shohei, way, Cy-Yo, nada, where did that land? Stuck to Chapman, who leaps up and grabs it.
Story spins and fires, out at first.
There it goes, see ya. Home run, Aaron Judge.
All right. So a couple of things to talk about in Major League Baseball. And the closest one to home for me is Nestor Cortez Jr. Out of the WBC with a hamstring injury. Does hope to be healthy for the start of 2023. And I know he dealt with some groin hamstring injury down the stretch last year. So you just want to make sure that's right. But they're calling it a low grade 2 hamstring strain, which will cost him a couple weeks. And he says he thinks he still can be ready. But I think it's one of those things, Tony. If he has to miss the first 2 weeks of the season to be healthy the rest of the season, that's fine. And I know we're already down a starter with Montas with the shoulder situation, but you think about Herman, you think about Clark Schmidt. Those are guys that can give you a couple starts. So I think, you'll be fine in that aspect. And it's going to be interesting too. It seems like the Tommy John rehabs just take longer and longer, but like Luis Gil too. I would imagine, he might need a little time to get going, but it will be very exciting once he gets back in the mix. Me and Matt were always big Luis Gil guys. But yeah, I think that the whole thing here, right? No big deal right now. And the key is you just don't want to rush this, right? At the end of the day, that's what you got to make sure you do here.
Oh yeah. Obviously, priority is going to be opening day, the actual season, so obviously you don't take precautionary measures now. So we just kind of, so he's able to start, to play in, in the rotation, to get his first start in there and hopefully get down the stretch and be ready for the start of the season as well. I mean, he's going to have to stay off it for a little bit, stretch, whatever, probably, not be able to really throw for a little bit. So,
Yeah.
again, you said what kind of grade hamstring?
Low grade 2. I mean, spring training
Low
hasn't
grade
even
2?
started.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
don't-
there's a pretty good
come
chance
on,
he can
dude.
make his first start.
Yeah, probably, dude. I mean, I don't think it would be much of an issue there. Maybe, Cortez is a little bit of a bigger dude too.
Yeah.
Maybe he can work on losing a few poundages. Make sure to do some
He's not
yoga,
that.
dude.
Let's tone it back a second. He's not really like heavy at all. Maybe he's a little stocky, but not really, like barely.
That's what stocky is, though. Like it's
Tony,
come on,
all I'm saying, if anybody's
No,
qualified on
no,
this
no,
subject
no. If
matter,
anyone's qualified, it's me. Okay, all right. Getting fitted for my uniforms for school, Husky. Okay, I knew what that meant.
I know what
okay?
thunder thighs
I
are,
know.
Tony. All right. And I guess really the only other baseball news here, the rule change in regards to position players pitching. I believe they're basically, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong here, but only eligible to pitch if it's a blowout and it's the 9th inning. I mean, is that the gist of
That
it?
seems like what it is, which is kind of stupid if you ask me, dude.
Idiotic.
Yeah, so stupid. Why?
Why? But maybe this will make managers kind of not go to the pen so early with that in mind. That you can't.
Dude, teams in the lead have to hold a 10-run advantage in the 9th inning before sending a non-pitcher to the mound. And teams trailing by 8 or more will be allowed to use the position players as pitchers at any point per game.
Yeah, all right. But it's still just like ridiculous. And then
the ghost runner position players can pitch regardless of any circumstance if the game goes past 9 innings.
It is disappointing because right after the first year of the ghost runner, with the COVID season, even Rob Manfred himself, and I know we can't rely on anything he says.
No, you can't.
But was alluding to the fact that we were going to get rid of that. And now it looks like it's here to stay. I mean, I guess I've somewhat gotten used to it, and it's nice that it doesn't come into play in the postseason. But do you think baseball is, missing it here in terms of, continuing with this in the regular season?
Yeah, I think so, dude. That's not good.
Because it just not, I know we're baseball traditionalists, but I just feel like it's just not the right thing. Brene really, really liked that one.
Yeah, I don't think she takes this serious.
I have to say that you were laughing like that was such like a out of the blue laugh. I thought it was like you saw something on your phone. Honestly, I didn't think you were laughing at me. Wow.
How dare you?
And I guess just some small notes here. Former Met great Michael Wacha agreeing to terms with the Padres. Good numbers last year for the Sox.
Yeah, he was.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can add some depth to the rotation. Speaking of the Sox, James Paxton, the former Yankee, healthy for the Red Sox, no limitations this spring. But with a guy like Paxton, Tony, at 34, and we've seen him excel at certain points of his career, I mean, can you really expect anything out of him? Or at this day and age, is anything possible?
I mean, I suppose anything is possible, but for me personally, I mean, the expectations are a little low here. So,
yeah. I don't know. You get injured so many times, and it's, how many times is it going to keep happening?
It could happen more, Brian.
And then I guess Chris Sale scheduled to throw a bullpen session.
Hooray!
And Cora not committing to a 5-man rotation. It's been interesting to see if they try to limit his innings. And Brad Hand, still a free agent, 2.8 ERA with the Phillies last year. I guess the Twins have some interest, but how did the Mets or the Yankees not have some?
Yeah,
interest,
right. Honestly, he's still a free agent.
Yeah, and Hand almost went to the Mets. Was that last year or the year before?
Last year.
So it'll be interesting to see where he signs. Yankees maintaining contact with Jurickson Profar. He hit 243 with 15 homers, 58 RBIs with the Padres last year.
You like Profar?
No. Give me my internal options. Bless you. Over Profar, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're right.
But I guess yes. First day of reporting is Wednesday. Is it Yankees Wednesday, Mets Thursday, or vice versa?
No, I think you're right.
Okay.
I think it's Wednesday, Mets Thursday.
So tomorrow, the New York Yankees, the quest for 28 Tony, begin. So I know you are ecstatic for that.
I'm more happy for Thursday.
Come on.
Did you see the Mets had a nice Super Bowl commercial? Did you see that, dude?
Yeah, I remember saying
no,
like,
I,
what?
yeah, I don't know, dude.
No, I just remember saying that's a little ridiculous.
Why?
I don't know. It's like
You don't know? But if it was the
I mean,
Yankees, it would be
no, but it's the Super Bowl, you know?
yeah, exactly. Get robbed for baseball. No one cares about football anymore. It's over, dude.
Oh man, Tony.
Yeah, think about it.
I don't know. I just think it was out of touch. It was
No.
little tone deaf, I guess, if I had to say.
Yeah, I think you're tone deaf.
But anyway, Tony, let's go now to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here's Matthews. Scores! Hat-trick goal!
My goodness, this is a great shot. Big hit on the far side by McCarr. He flattens Jordan's skull. Oh my goodness. Expects to come right back. Terrified and robbed by Shesterkin. That's brilliant from Igor Shesterkin. It's a breakaway to win it in overtime. McDavid scores the winner in overtime.
All right. So we had 5 games in the National Hockey League last night, 2 actually going to overtime.
A lot of overtime games recently.
Yeah, I definitely have noticed that. Now we'll just kind of quickly talk about these games, but before we do that, Tony, out of all the results from last night, if you would start us out with your biggest surprise from last night.
Biggest surprise, I would guess maybe. I mean, it was in overtime, so maybe not so much of a surprise, but probably Coyotes winning 4-2 in regulation. That was probably my biggest surprise here.
And no goal from Keller. He did have 2 assists. And it was nice to see, Vejmelka get back to the way that we've expected him to play. Because you look at his numbers, Tony, nothing pops off the page still. I mean, this year's a little better than last year. But last night, 29 to 31 saves.
Yeah.
You'll take that any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
In the Coyotes, that was only their 7th road victory of the season, 20 regulation losses, 6 overtime losses.
That's ridiculous.
So to get that win in Nashville, that's big. And it's just like, I just, we've been following their situation for the last, couple seasons here. I mean, how do they get to the next step? I mean, is it more offense or defense that they need help in your eyes?
It's a very good question. I would say more offense.
Yeah.
Honestly. You're looking at, 1 or 2 guys that are kind of capable on that team. They need more weapons offensively.
Crocet, though, 2 goals last night.
Yeah. How many has he have on the season?
Lawson Crocet has 19 goals.
So 12 assists. Not bad.
But see, that's the problem, though. Everybody,
it's not bad.
Yeah, we keep saying not bad, not terrible. But
when's it going to be great, Brian?
Yeah, I think the fans are getting a little restless, and you want a contender by the time that new arena, theoretically opens up there in Tempe.
Oh yeah.
When I look at this, though, for me, I'm going to say the way that the Kings handled the Sabres. Home ice, time difference, cross country flight,
body clock.
You would expect the Kings to win this game.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be 5-2. I didn't expect Buffalo to give up 4 goals in the second period.
Yeah.
And I think 2, I mean, is mediocre for sure. I expected them to score a little more. No Kopitar in this one, but Kempe, 27 goals, shorthanded with the first goal of the game here. Do you know anything about Adrian Kempe?
I know he's been in the league. Wow, it's funny. I was actually just looking at his stats this morning. He's 26 years old. I think he's still been in the league for quite some time with LA. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, it looks like he was drafted in 16. Obviously a very decent center for him. He's from Sweden, 6'2", 200 pounds here. This year, I mean, he has 42 points on the season so far. You're looking at a pretty long development, I would say, from, again, think about it. He's 26 years old. He's been in the league since 16. So that's like, he's been in the league since probably 19, 20 years old, give or take. So obviously at a relatively young age for him. And look at his career. I mean, second year in the league, he's basically just thrown in on the Kings. as a full-time player, played 81 games for the 18 and 17 season. Both those, it's, I guess, solid, sophomore, junior years in the league here. 16 goals, 21 assists for 37 points is that sophomore year. That second full season he had in his third year in the NHL, he had only 28 points. But last year, you saw probably the biggest uptick in production from him. A guy who was averaging around 15 goals probably for his first 4 or 5 seasons, all of a sudden hits 35 goals, 19 assists for 54 points in 78 games, right? So you're seeing, another kind of almost full season there, and him really kind of finding, I guess, his own way in the middle of the ice here. And he's kind of mimicking, last year once again here. Probably the biggest, I would say, difference is honestly his plus and minus on the ice. Last year, he was -2 on the ice in total. This year, he's +7, half as many penalty minutes right now. So he's playing a more disciplined game as well. But other than that, I mean, he's averaging the same amount of ice time as he did last year, right around just under 19 minutes per game. Solid on the power playing unit. Quite a few game-winning goals here for him. And so I would say, again, one of those players that I guess the Kings kind of developed over the past few years. And now they're kind of finally seeing some improvement, as well as some results from him too.
And Kings, I mean, position well here, 4th in the Western Conference, and we know those standings can change with the gaps being pretty tight there. So it'll be interesting to see, do they make a move before the deadline, and where do they end up finishing this season? Same could be said about the Flames. They fall, though, 4-3 to the Senators. So that inconsistency on the road continues for Calgary here. In overtime, the Senators pulling this out 4-3. So definitely disappointing for the Flames. And I know there's not that much of a record differential, but I think the common sentiment around the league here is that the Flames, a lot more talented roster. And you look at this game for Ottawa, Chachuk had his 21st in the first, but then no scoring till the third period, where they were able to tie it up before Tim Stutzel winning it in overtime for Ottawa. Is there like a franchise player that, Ottawa's building around here? I mean, what does the future look like for the Senators?
Oh, man, that's honestly so tough because, again, the Senators were someone I thought would be, much better than they are. With Brady, I guess you could say that's kind of the guy they're trying to build around is Brady. He's 23 years old. Huge body, he's a left winger. He can score. We know that he's a good puck handler. So that's probably the one guy they're kind of, I suppose, building around in terms of scoring goals. They have a couple of vets on the team. Claude Giroux, I thought, honestly, would be, was a great pickup, and he was, he's got 49 points there for Ottawa. But I guess I was expecting more maybe out of Brassard. And I don't know, man. I just thought they would be a better team. I don't know if they just need maybe better goaltending. I mean, I feel like Cam Talbot's had some solid numbers this season for them, right?
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, look at him. 2.9 goals against, 905 save percentage. Forsberg is allowing more goals, but I don't know. Maybe it's a defense issue. I mean, Travis Harmonic on the team. I mean, he's been around for quite some time. He was on the Islanders forever. He's an okay defenseman. I don't know really much about these other guys. Nick Holden, I believe, was on the Rangers for a hot second. But again, another guy, 35 years old. So maybe they just need some help with some youth. Alex Debrincat, he was someone who was pretty solid for, I believe, Chicago he was on. Oh, yeah, so it seems like maybe their forwards are fine. Maybe just help on defense, some youth on defense would probably help. I would imagine maybe some of those older guys are having some issues, keeping up with other speedy teams. But obviously, I mean, great job for Ottawa for kind of sneaking one past the Flames here against overtime. I mean, two teams that have, I guess, close to the same record in terms of wins. But I mean, obviously, Calgary has all those overtime losses, 11 overtime losses, pretty outrageous. But
think about, you switch that around a little bit.
I mean, imagine if
win half of those.
Yeah, I was saying if half of those were wins, I mean, you're looking at kind of a different team, especially in terms of the standings. But Ottawa, I think for me, kind of a disappointment. Again, like that was kind of my under the radar, sneaky pick of like making a splash and kind of having some momentum going into the playoffs. I still think they could. I mean, trade deadline we know is March 3rd.
So we got some time.
They got some time to make some trades. Who would it be, really? I mean, I don't know. They have a lot of goaltenders on their roster. Maybe they can find another team struggling to find a goaltender and
Talbot get some picks.
Maybe, dude. Honestly,
yeah. I mean, if you're not going to make the playoff, generate assets. I mean,
exactly.
That's the name of the game. Detroit, Tony, bold, 6-1 over the Vancouver Canucks.
I kind of think we need to be bold.
2 goals for Dylan Larkin, 20 and 21. Red Wings moved to 24 and 20. Vancouver 21 and 29. So been competitive in a lot of games, but this one, Vancouver, just did not have their footing here. So it'll be interesting to see, does Larkin stay around and they build around him, or do they try to collect assets? That's a question that's going to be answered. And then the only other game from last night, Florida squeaking by Minnesota 2-1 in a shootout. So Florida, kind of hanging around, but when you're comparing it to last year, you could call it a highly disappointing season, but 27 and 23 now. Barkov, the game winner in overtime. Wild fall to 28 and 20, but Kaprizov does get his 30th goal of the year. So I know record-wise they're very close, but if you had to say, which team do you feel like is stronger moving forward? Don't think about it.
Florida.
Wow.
Don't think about it.
I didn't expect that out of you.
I didn't really think about it. So,
because I mean the talent is there, but it's just, I don't know. I know we've talked about it all year, but with Huberdeau, I guess he was just setting up the whole team. He had 80 assists. He was just setting everybody up at will last year.
Yeah.
And I guess they don't have that playmaker. I mean, is it that simple, Tony?
I think that's definitely one huge part of it. Yeah. And I feel like Barkov, I mean, I guess you could still say if Huberdeau's not setting him up, that could explain why other players don't have as much production too. But I don't know, dude. I mean, it's so funny because I was looking at the standings here.
Don't think about
it. This morning, when I was just sitting here, I was looking at the standings, and it is honestly pretty ridiculous how how stacked the East is.
Right. The Rangers, I think, what would be second in the West, and they're 7th?
Yeah. They realistically, 54, 30, they would, 70 points. They'd be tied with Dallas, basically, in terms of points. And they have one more win than them, so they may even be in first in the West. And obviously,
they're just better than Dallas, Tony.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to be a homer,
especially
but they're
now,
better.
Dude. Well,
they're better than the Kings.
It's just so crazy because I mean, you look at what
they're
the West,
better than the Stars.
If you look at what the West was last year, obviously, the picture looked a little bit differently. In terms of like, obviously Colorado up there, Minnesota more up there, Calgary more up there, even Edmonton at this point was probably up there. LA, Winnipeg, Dallas, Edmonton, all these teams were way down. And you had dogs, they're tight dogs over there, dude. You had teams like Nashville that were up there. St. Louis was fighting for a wild card spot. Pretty crazy. And then, of course, not to mention all these different teams are in contention. But like the teams that were in contention last year, they were the teams that had like 80 points already.
Right.
They were the teams that only lost like 10 games so far this season. Like Colorado wasn't losing. 19 games. They weren't touching 20 losses at this point in the season last year. Right. So it's pretty crazy to see that real flip flop. But also, I mean, I still think that some of these teams could be, they shouldn't be still overlooked in the playoffs. Like if you end up facing Colorado or even Vegas or something, like, don't be like, oh, wow, like, we were killing them in the regular season, sort of deal. That's just a shit mentality. But it is pretty crazy to see the absolute flip flop of the Western Conference after being like so dominant, last season. And then now, like the Eastern Conference, I mean, it looks like the Bruins, the Hurricanes, some of these teams are like surefire. Like it seems like the East, whatever Eastern team gets in there is definitely winning the cup.
Boy, and I have to say, I mean, obviously you felt good about the playoff series last year, but after that game over the weekend, I mean, I felt good about the Hurricanes, and I was a little nervous.
I know, right?
Obviously the Bruins will be a task, but it'll be interesting to see next time they match up, what the result is. But I just feel like we're better than every team in the West. I really do. So that's why it almost feels not fair, in a sense, what we didn't talk about though, before we do our picks for tonight, over the weekend, Erik Karlsson, Tony, his 18th goal, up to 73 points. We know about the contract, the salary,
It's a big
the
contract,
years. But I mean, we're almost. He might get 100 points this year.
Yeah, he probably will.
But you think like 0% chance he gets moved.
Yeah, probably 0% chance, honestly.
It's such a shame that that production goes to waste.
I know.
Like, would you say you're stunned at the production?
Yes, I'm very pleasantly surprised about Erik Karlsson's production. Again, he's someone who's a little bit older in the league too.
55 assists.
55 assists
is ridiculous.
It is, dude. I mean, and for a defenseman to be that offensively involved all the time, I mean, it's really impressive.
Yeah. So maybe comeback player of the year. No, I know. Don't do it in hockey. We get it. Wow.
Come on, dude.
A little tight at the suggestion. But yeah, let's take a look at the slate tonight. We both went 2-1 yesterday, so 2 points apiece to start off early on in the pick segment. And looking at the games for tonight, I believe we have a decent slate here.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. So I guess we're going
9 games.
Quad box here.
Nice, dude.
What do you got?
All right. Well, we were just talking about the East and the Western Conference, who is leading. So tonight you got the Boston Bruins in Dallas against the Stars. And again, to say that, the Eastern Conference is certainly more of the Titan conference in terms of the league compared to the West. So I would say give me the Bruins here. And I think it's going to be one of those games. Boston minus 120. I mean, I'll take that honestly all day. Bruins 4-1. Let's say 4-1, dude.
No respect for Dallas.
No. At this point, no respect. I mean, you'll get.
I thought you thought they were really good.
No, I do think they're really good. But again, like comparing them to like the juggernaut of the East right now, I mean, these two teams faced each other already once this season. Bruins had beat them 3-1, and even since then, the Bruins really have not missed a step. You saw the Stars kind of go on this streakiness sort of deal. Plus, the Bruins, as of recently, kind of, I guess, have been in a little bit of a schneid. So I want to say, like, playing Dallas, I mean, they're going to want to make an example, and I think they're going to come in pretty hot, dude.
Yeah,
so,
and to show there's a big difference between the number one team in the West, number one team in the East.
Absolutely, dude.
Speaking of teams from the West, teams from the East, as I barely got through that, rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals once again. Seems like we've had this matchup a lot, but I guess it was just last week they played once, and that was it.
Oh.
Anyway, I want to say the Lightning won last time around.
5-0.
5-0. This time we're in Colorado, and I think we're going to see a reversal here. I feel good about the Avalanche in this spot simply because of the home ice. I think it makes a big difference. And we know how strong Tampa is at home. So I think Avalanche returns the favor here. Rantanen with 2 goals and an assist. 4-2 Colorado Avalanche over the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Wow, dude. Okay, my next game, I'm surprised you actually didn't want to go with this game because you're just talking about Erik Karlsson. I'm taking the Sharks tonight at home against Pittsburgh. A little bit of an underdog spot here. Pittsburgh are actually only minus 160. As you know, Tristan Jarry is out.
What do you think Jarry makes up for? Don't look it up.
What do I think? What?
No, I'm saying if Jarry was starting, do you think it's like minus 180, minus 190? Or you think it's
minus 210?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because when Jarry's playing, he's absolutely electric,
Smith middling starter if he was a starting tender?
I mean, I think right now he does let up a lot of goals. I feel like it's over 3. Definitely, over 3.3 goals against on average, dude. 903 save percentage is solid, but I mean, 19, 11, and 4. You gotta be better than that, dude.
All right, just checking.
Middling starter, dude. Anyway, dude, San Jose, you know about Erik Karlsson, 73 points. We should mention the 55 assists, the 18th goal over the weekend, dude. As well as they still have Timo Meier on the team. He's taken 242 shots this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely outrageous. I'm just looking at that right now. And of course, Erik Karlsson on the power play. 15 of those assists were from the power play, right? So, I mean, very dangerous power play unit for San Jose. I think without Tristan Jarry, they'll maybe have a step up. Also, these two teams did play recently, maybe about 2-3 weeks ago now. Sharks won 6-4, dude. And you look at that game, Logan Couture had 2 goals and 3 assists. He was probably the one guy that you can really be notable of. Timo Meier didn't have a great game. Erik Karlsson didn't have a great game. And you had Malkin with 2 goals, 1 assist for Pittsburgh. Still didn't even win, dude. Okay, so give me San Jose, the underdog, dude. The tight dog rate. Another dog, a tight dog.
All-time classic, Tony.
Let's go. San Jose. I don't know. 5-4 regulation.
5-4 regulation. All right. For this one, I am gonna go to Washington, Tony.
Wow. Chokery?
And yeah. I just feel like I have to take the Hurricanes. I mean, after getting embarrassed, very
by
good
the
Rangers,
there.
and the Capitals. I get it; they've been hanging in there.
There's nothing.
Darcy's done a decent job, but I think the Hurricanes have shown a lot better team this season.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nikas, Aho, coming in hot. So I think here, on the road, not going to be that easy. But give me the Hurricanes 4-2. Nikas with an empty netter with 25 seconds remaining.
All right, buddy. My next pick, dude. Let's see. I got Panthers, Blues. Flyers minus 130. That's your Hulu game right there, dude. Wow, Winnipeg and Kraken line pretty close as well, dude. I don't know, dude. Give me the Devils here on the road in Columbus. I understand, Johnny Hockey over there, Johnny Gaudreau. I don't know. I mean, he's having an okay season, I suppose. 50 points, 14 goals, 36 assists. But I mean, Columbus ass, dude. They've lost 4 out of the last 5 games. Jersey's won 3 out of the last 5. Tough loss as of 3 days ago against the Wild in a shootout. But before that, they beat Seattle, they beat Vancouver, they beat Dallas, That was also beat the Blue Jackets already once this season, 7-1. 7-1, Brian.
Wow.
Well, I can't really see it being much different than that. Especially with Vanacek, who still has been on his game so far. I think Jack Hughes was out for a little bit, but he's back right now. He's in the lineup. I mean, talk about someone that should be looking like Jack Hughes. It should be really Johnny Gaudreau. Hughes with 67 points in the season, 35 goals, 32 assists. Johnny Gaudreau, who's so close to going to the Devils, native New Jerseyan, he's going to get absolutely scraped by the Devils, I think. They're out for blood, dude.
But I'm coming for blood, Michael.
Give me the Devils again, 5-0. Vitek Vanacek with his 3rd shutout of the season.
Wow.
Like that, dude?
I was a little taken back.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are Columbus?
I mean, shut out. No, Gaudreau can't push one across late.
No, never.
Wow.
14 goals in the. Come on, dude.
I'm going to take the Islanders to rebound here. Minus 215 at home. I know
Like it.
they've looked like absolute shit the last couple games.
Chicken shit.
But you got Bo Horvath. You have those veterans, Matt Martin, Brock Nelson, Tony. Not to mention a really good tender in Sorokin. So I want to say the Islanders here, catching the Senators on a back-to-back. I think actually they win this one 6-3 and say, relax. We trust in Bo.
Wow. Trust in Bo, dude. If that's not a t-shirt by next week, oh man.
My God. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right, dude. All right, this is our last pick, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking right now. We got Blackhawks, Canadians left. Panthers, Blues, Kraken, Jets. And I'm so tempted to take the Blackhawks, dude. Little underdog here tonight. Dude, I guess I know it's so tough, dude. I'll take the dog, dude. Give me the Blackhawks tonight. I just think, obviously, they're in Montreal here. Blackhawks had a tough loss actually against them late November. Shootout loss to the Canadiens 3-2. I just think that's the type of game that can really go either way. And as of right now, the Blackhawks kind of struggled to do well against good teams. But they did beat Arizona, team you think they should beat. They beat actually Calgary too recently. In Montreal, I know just kind of beat a struggling Islanders team in overtime. They beat Edmonton, and you've kind of seen these good runs for Montreal, but I think it stops right here, Chicago. I would think Chicago, uncharacteristically looking good. They beat Montreal 5-0, Brian.
Wow.
Max Domi, Patty Kane, Jonathan Taves.
Sayonara, Tony.
Combined for 5 goals. Okay? Think about it, dude.
Interesting. Last pick of the night.
What do you got, Brian? Okay,
Give me the Jets.
Take the Kraken. Oh.
Give me the Jets. The Kraken suck. Jets are better than the Kraken. So I know. Hellebuck, shutout. 3-0. Winnipeg at home every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
We are just tossing shutouts around today.
Oh, man. So a full slate. Rangers back on the ice tomorrow. I have to say,
Finally, dude.
This stretch, I know, listen, we were pumped all year. You get a little downtrodden, bad stretch. But I have to say, I think this is the pinnacle of this year so far in terms of excitement level, confidence level, Tony. The way the Rangers are playing, it just seems like if you play like this, good things will happen.
Yeah, and the build-up, you hammer the Kraken Friday, you hammer the Hurricanes on Saturday. You get a couple of days off, dude. I'm so pumped for hockey tomorrow. Honestly.
Yeah,
so excited, dude. It's gonna be
ridiculous, Tony. So that does it for hockey, but we have 2 exciting subject matters on the way out. The first, my specialty, the world of golf, Tony. Okay. So we are previewing, which will start on Thursday, and we all know about the return of Tiger to the course. First PGA Tour event since the Open in July. The Genesis Invitational here at the famous Riviera Country Club there in Los Angeles, or actually Palisades technically is where it is. But look at this tournament, another elevated event, just like last week, at the Waste Management. Defending champion here, Joakim Niemann, will not be in the field as he is now part of LIV. So no title to defend. The champion from 2021, Max Homa, is in the field. So technically he's, not a defending champion, but a former champion. But as I'm alluding to, pretty comparable field to last week. I'll run down the names here. Riviera, though, always a tough course. Tigers play there a bunch of times. Never won. Interestingly enough, being in his backyard, Tiger being the California native. But in addition to Mr. Woods, this is else who will be teeing it up this week. Max Homa, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Justin Rose, Adam Scott, Matt Fitzpatrick, Seamus Power, in addition to Sam Burns, Hideki Matsuyama, Sanjay Im, and Will Zalatoris, Tony. So, you think about all those names, pretty much a who's who of the PGA Tour. So this is definitely a tough course here. Long, in terms of 73-22 off the tee. And really it's just, having that ball stick on the green, a lot of elevated greens, fast greens. So it'll be interesting to see how the scoring comes in. And the fact too, the course has not averaged under par since 2009.
Oh my God.
Before last year, actually. 70.464. So par 71. So always a tough course. So you think about the golfers that kind of adapt, to any course that's put in front of them. Elevated purse, the fact that Tiger's there, all, additional motivation here, Tony. So all of that being said, a lot to take in.
A lot to take in here, dude.
A historic course, but you had to give me something here. What is it?
Did you take Rory last
Week? I did.
Right? Give me Rory this week, dude.
Wow. And what's the thought process here? A rebound week after a kind of a ho-hum performance last week?
Yeah, and I think so. And I think maybe tough course, level some playing field here. Everyone's kind of maybe coming in, maybe doing a little bit worse than they think. And I think, maybe Rory here, a little late push on the weekend, able to kind of steal the tourney here, dude.
Wow. Tiger, any impact there? Does that get him fired up a little more? Or gets everyone fired up?
Oh, having Tiger at every other player fired up?
Enhanced performance.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think it gets people a little nervous, to have someone like Tiger, who I would imagine any player on the tour has respect for, not to mention probably could be thinking in the back of his head, well, I can probably do the best I could, but if Tiger is just on it, like, what am I going to do, sort of deal. So everyone's definitely got their wits a little sharper, dude.
So I'm going to go with a guy
who's
not exactly riding the wave of momentum.
Oh, no.
Missing the cut last week at TPC Scottsdale, was tied second in this event last year. Give me Colin Morikawa.
Wow.
Let's start the turnaround now. We know the potential there. But I think this is going to be an amazing event. And obviously it was going to be amazing. And then you throw Tiger into the mix. And I know we talked about this. I want to say, when the announcement initially came out, and they were talking about it yesterday as well. Are you pretty confident, Tony, that he'll make the cut?
Tiger, yes, very confident.
Opening round number is, like, in terms of over par,
One
under. Birdie on 18?
Is that what you want?
No, I'm just asking. Or is it a back and forth kind of round?
I think it's a back.
Rallies on the
dude.
back.
Yeah.
Do we see him grimacing a lot?
Yeah. I would think, maybe tight back to start off with. Back end of his first round is really where he kind of back loosens up, has some mobility, able to really get behind his drives and everything like that, and just feel maybe a little bit looser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
can see that.
Matthew says, love golf. So he's pumped up. Prefer exiting a little early here. Says, great show, fellas.
Screen time at noon with Manny and Tony. He's correct.
I'm surprised though. Prefer's always talking. He's a big golfer, so I'm surprised he wasn't, more excited about Riviera. No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's just a tough course. He's never run into it, dude. He wants the easy courses, low scoring, great shots.
Yeah, I could see it. But we actually are going to need Renee's assistance here. Could you just grab one of the Prism packs?
Wow, dude. Totally
could
forgot
you,
we had those. Dude.
Cue up the music.
Cue up the music, dude. You want a little ESPN, dude?
Chicago Bulls.
Oh, come on. We're going to play this for a while.
All right. We'll try it. Prefer likes playing, hates watching golf. They're the new Prism Pack reveal.
Lower.
We're back. And this is actually a new pack. I'm not sure where the other one is from yesterday, but either way. Tony, are we good? But just gonna throw a little curveball at you, Tony, and we're gonna do this last. We're gonna go another solo card. We were a little disappointed with Forrest yesterday from Florida. Trent Forrest from Florida State. Say that 3 times fast. So here we go. As Tony has it way low on the camera here. Cumby's out of the way. The pack is being ripped. And we are starting out with the former University of Memphis center, James Wiseman, who just got traded, I believe, to the Detroit Pistons after not working out in Golden State. Guy with plenty of potential, just needs the playing time. I think he will work out because a lot of playing time available in Detroit. One we had yesterday, Denji Adiva. So I believe he's on the Wizards. Younger player, a lot is expected as he grows into the NBA. A guy who once started a fight, I think, with LeBron, and was on the Pistons. I'm not sure if he's still there. Isaiah Stewart. All right. Kind of an interesting way to finish here. A guy that I've never heard of, but went to the University of Kentucky, Ashton Higgins. So we'll see, what he ends up blossoming into, Tony. And from the University of Maryland, Jalen Smith. So definitely an interesting pull. Wiseman, the notable. Need him to have the playing time. Give it a chance. And I know I'm doing this without Michael's permission. So, Michael, I know you're watching somewhere. I apologize for jumping the gun here. But this, of course, is the bonus Panini Prism Pack. And you would think, after Forrest yesterday, there would be liquid gold in here, Tony. You open it up slowly. From Penn State University, Lamar Stevens. So I think, a guy, we'll give it a little more to here. I mean, the card looks nice. Player performance, the holographics, all of that. Player performance, we'll have to check up on that, get back to you. But that will do it today for the Prism Pack reveal. So, kind of interesting. A little bit of an oddball, Tony, as we would say here. But nevertheless, packs are being ripped. And we overall, we really do have a great selection of cards. You think about those Anthony Edwards cards. He seems to be next. Obviously it remains to be seen. But yeah. I really do think, he's going to be next. And I have to give a shout out. I know Michael's riled about this. Barnes is mute. I don't think I'm mute anymore, though.
No, that was way back.
But the New York Knicks last night break a 9.
Wow, dude.
9-game losing streak.
9
to the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, they're playing without all their guys that were just Brunson with 40 in a win. So I think that was big for the Knicks, get the monkey off their backs.
The proverbial monkey.
By getting this win, now 32-27. And it really is amazing. There's been a couple injuries. Jalen Brunson doesn't get the nod for All-Stars. I don't know. I just don't understand it. He's shooting 40% from the floor. He's averaging over 20 points a game. He's a guy whose points per game, I believe it's 4 straight years, has gone up. So it's really hard to not be impressed by what he's doing. 40 points, 6 of 9 from 3-point range, 15 of 21 from the floor. So very efficient effort there. Josh Hart, another guy Michael's excited about, 28 points last night off the bench. Not 28 points, 27 points in 28 minutes, 4 of 6 from 3-point range. So I'm just saying, watch out. I know he wants championship or bust, but we talked about it. Stepping stones, foundation. And I think there might be, Tony, and tell me if this is fair or not, a little more there than he thinks.
I don't know, dude. I typically go with Mike on this one, and it's not really too happy about that, dude.
But I feel like you're not thinking big picture, Tony. Like
I never
the Knicks, since that playoff series win against the Celtics 12 years ago, they've almost been the Pittsburgh Pirates of basketball. You went to the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year was disappointing. You look like you're definitely going to go again this year. You have some young pieces. And I know, not a Randall guy, but he is performing. And I don't know. I think, you get into that 4 or 5 seed, play Brooklyn, play Cleveland, play Miami. You never know what could happen. Because I think we do forget, just because of what the expectations were last season, that Thibs was part of some great, Chicago teams, great, Celtics teams, back in 2008 when they won the championship. Back in the day, Tony, did you used to be a D Rose guy for the Bulls a little bit?
Do I think D Rose Bulls guy? What?
No, were you?
Was
I'm asking
I?
you? Do you just think Derrick Rose was kind of sick?
I mean, I guess. I mean, at the time, I really most remember him for really getting injured. So
you're kind of calling him out.
I mean, it's like, dude, like just figure it out. Like what are you getting injured for so much?
But I feel like you would know rugby, the way injuries happen, can't control it. No?
Yeah, it sucks. But I mean, the first thing they tell you is that, hey, man, like you're in shape. You just go hard. As if you're in shape to play, your chances of getting injured pretty low.
It's a shame because I'm not going to be watching this one later. Not that I guess it's that much of a shame, but a little bit.
You're just gonna brush it aside, dude. What do you think, Derrick Rose, dude?
I love Derrick Rose.
Really?
Yeah.
Even injuries, you don't care?
He was drafted with Michael Beasley.
Right.
He was amazing. Obviously, tough rehab from the ACL. I think he was too tentative coming off that ACL. Could have returned that previous season. And I think, the mindset. I know he had a little cup of coffee with the Knicks, but obviously he's been a bench player, not even getting in games at this point. So it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But so this would have been a marquee matchup, but we have Jaylen Brown out, Jason Tatum doubtful. So the Bucks -9 here at home against the Celtics. 7:30 on TNT would have been, the top 2 seeds in the East. And it'll be interesting to see, they hold Giannis out of this one, just because of, what the Celtics are working with here. Oh, he's probable. Okay, so he will play. But you think they cover the 9, Tony? Without Brown, without Tatum. Blake Griffin did hit like 5 3-pointers.
Yeah, I say yes.
They cover the 9.
Yes.
Yeah. But Bucks are where it's at, honestly.
Are they, dude?
Yeah, I think they're definitely better than the Celtics. You like the Celtics at full strength or no? Over the Bucks?
I mean, how do you not, dude?
All right, I was just asking. I don't know. I guess it's like, it seems like Brown and Tatum have been on the team a while, and it's tough for them to finish. Get the job done, get there all the way. We've seen them lose in the finals. We've seen them lose in the Eastern Conference Finals. What's it going to take?
Yeah, but don't they beat the Bucks out, like typically?
So I mean, all I could tell you, Tony, is you think about the last 3 seasons, 1-0 Bucks in terms of titles.
Right, but
only measuring.
Did they go to the finals last season?
The Celtics.
The Celtics did.
Yeah,
against the Heat,
Warriors.
But right,
Warriors. Yeah, Warriors won the championship.
Eastern Conference Final was against the Heat.
Eastern Conference Final, yes, was against the Heat.
That was a good series, dude. Because I was like, the first time I was like really watching it all season. It was pretty sweet, dude. Jimmy Butler, the overtime games.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, it was
right.
Yeah. But
you didn't like it?
I don't know. I just think I don't know if this group has what it takes. Honestly, who wins this year? Blindly, championship.
Suns.
Wow.
But that
would be a story.
That would be a story.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch Durant. I don't know when he's coming back. They have a game actually tonight against the Kings.
Yeah, he's injured still, right?
Yeah, let's just see what we got in the injury report here. It says he's out. Took part in his first practice with the Suns on Monday, but he's officially out for the 2 games before the All-Star break. So he's going to come back after the All-Star break. It's crazy that he's 34.
That is really crazy.
But time goes quickly, Tony, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I know this is so random, but I just wanted to ask this before we wrap up shop here. Never got to ask you, Renee. How was Super Bowl Sunday?
It was great.
Best food item that you had?
Mexican dip that my mom makes.
Okay.
It's refried beans,
yep,
sour cream,
Mhm.
tomatoes, olives, something else, and baked in the oven.
Wow. No, that's a good tip. We used to make some variation of that my house growing up. Tony, are you a fan of that type of dip? The layer, the beans, the
Yeah,
cheese.
7-layer dip is where it's at, dude. I mean,
There were so many good things, but I mean Archie Moore's wings, you can't beat those. Just Buffalo. Boneless too. I'm a big boneless guy. I know Tony likes the bone, a tight bone.
I do enjoy the bone-in wing, dude. Yeah, but what was the type of wing we had on Friday at Archie's? Honey hot.
Honey hot is amazing. Wait, where was that from?
Archie's.
Honey hot is unbelievable.
It really is so. And dude, I mean, their bone-in wings are so tender and delicious.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, what a spread we had though on Sunday. But that being, what were you gonna say?
I said, what a spread we had last night, dude.
Yeah, Sally's was great last night.
So
Looking
good.
forward to giving Pepe's another chance next week. Crisp it up, Tony. Crisp it up. All right.
Oh god.
But we got something good coming out on Screen Time.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Last
dude.
of Us, Super Bowl commercials, Manny.
Last of Us episode 5 recap, dude. Big episode last night. Well, it came out on Friday technically because of the Super Bowl.
Was it any good?
Yeah, of course, it was really good. Great action, dude. Some goriness, dude. There were some nice, good kills in this
Does it
one.
seem like a show Renee would like?
No, Renee was gonna shut her eyes and
Oh,
stuff.
wow. Okay.
Right, Renee. Renee doesn't
Gory,
like scary,
gooey.
gory, scary and stuff. Well, no,
But what about like really unrealistic, like sci-fi?
Oh no.
Okay, continue.
it's not unrealistic.
No, it's
dude.
not.
It's
What do you mean?
unrealistic,
No,
actually.
that's
Explain
gonna
it very
happen.
well, scientifically.
2030.
actually. Yep.
2030.
Could,
It's gonna
it
happen.
could. So anyway, yeah, so great episode. Sports buzz. Sports Super Bowl commercials, dude. Okay, we're talking that as well. Obviously, it's always a hot button issue for the Super Bowl. But also, Brian, there's another piece of news that I want to talk about that I'm very surprised. I don't think you mentioned last night or this morning
Mhm.
about a certain broadcasting crew over on SNY.
I guess I didn't hear about it.
Keith Hernandez, 3-year deal.
Wow. Do we have the terms of the deal?
No, I couldn't find out how much it was for, dude. But
What a
this was
chief.
This was yesterday when no, dude, stop it. This was yesterday when it first was announced, so I'm sure it's out there somewhere. But now these two crew, these three,
They're all under contract for the next 2 seasons.
yes, and this season is going to be, I think, their 18th or 19th season together, which is the longest running broadcasting crew for the Mets in Mets history. Just looking up. All right, Keith Hernandez returning as NY with new contract.
I have a feeling the terms of the deal not disclosed.
Yeah, probably not. It doesn't have to be, dude. Sigh of relief. The Mets 69 years old. Yeah. And then that's I guess it's really
Wow,
there, huh?
getting up there.
He is getting up there, dude. But what a great job. Obviously, 18th season in the booth. For the three for Hernandez. Just a great job all around. I know Brian was really worried about it. So yeah, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
Mets have even more to look forward to now.
I
season.
apologize for letting that one slip through the cracks.
It's okay, dude.
I can't wait to see what he has to say about the Phillies. Because I don't know if he's really fully addressed that. Who's the Vertatis project?
Veritas Production is Mike and I old professor Brian Thorne.
Okay, Thorne. Yeah.
He forgot what a Shviadel looks like. He's saying, and he's kind of, I guess, making fun of it. My mother said when she says, "I forgot what you look like," and with a frowny face.
Wow.
You know what a Shviadel is, Brian? Shviadel pastry.
Yeah, I think so. It's like light, like with the powdered sugar.
Very
and
flaky,
stuff.
yeah. Powdered
Yeah.
sugar. It's got like a nice ricotta, like cream cheese
Ricotta.
filling inside. It's delicious. I always, bring some Shviadels. But first, this Shviadel is a lobster tail. It's not a lobster tail on the pastry. It's not a lobster tail. Okay, it's a little
Lobster
different.
tails are good though.
Lobster tails are fire, dude. Both forms of lobster tails, the pastry and the real lobster tail.
Right.
So good, dude.
Absolutely. 100%.
100%, dude.
But baseball around the corner. I was gonna actually make this announcement earlier and I forgot. But I think what we want to do, Tony, we'll let them get their feet wet, the pitchers, the catchers, starting on Monday. MLB divisional previews. Do you
Let's go.
agree, sir?
I think it's about time, right? Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, so we are pumped for that little homework
Come on,
assignment in between Valentine's Day dinner over the weekend, Tony. You might have to do a
God,
little
dude.
research, free agent signings.
I'll see what I can do.
Roster construction. There will be a little time for that. But once again, wow, what a show! A lot of fans getting in the mix here with the comments.
Prefer saying too early, dude.
Well, Prefer doesn't
I thought he was
run
full of
this
shit.
show.
Oh, wow,
so
dude.
unfortunately, that will not be taken into consideration.
Hmm.
Gentleman Jack. But really appreciate everybody tuning in today and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. Checking out the archives on the YouTube page, like last night's episode of the Gaming Corner.
Great job last
the
night.
Madden 23 tournament. Great job by all. Very good there. The merch at downtimetv.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, enjoy screen time, and we will see you.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.